thanks for watching. Today's video is going to be my September favorites video. I don't think I did an August favorites video, mainly because I was using mostly the same products from my previous favorites video. And while I've been trying really hard to not buy any new makeup, we all know how that works. But I do definitely have a collection of products that I've been loving throughout the past month and thought that I would share with you. So my first favorite is definitely the Les Wattier Extreme Hold CC Eye Primer. This product launched last year and I actually bought it when it launched, and then I've also been using it on pretty much all of my clients at work. Never thought I would like one as much as my Smashbox. So if you've watched any of my previous tutorials, you know that I love the MAC Soft Ochre Paint Pot. I am trying to kind of move away from brands like MAC or brands that test on animals. It's kind of hard when most of my makeup collection was MAC, so I'm just trying to find some alternatives to my MAC favorites. The primer is fantastic. So it has kind of like a metal applicator that you see in a lot of under eye creams. You just twist it up, and it does have that kind of peachy nude flesh tone. Kind of like the soft ochre, but not as yellow. So it's really good for neutralizing the eye, canceling out any redness, blue tones, veins, you know, the natural kind of discoloration that we do get around the eye area. But it also works really well for helping your shadow to appear more pigmented and helping it to last longer. This has been my go-to primer lately. My eyeshadow today I applied 8 hours ago and it is still perfectly on, so I definitely cannot say enough good things about this. Next eye favorite is a drugstore eye product. This is the Essence 2-in-1 eyeshadow and liner. It is waterproof. It's basically a cream eyeshadow stick. When I saw these at my local drugstore, they were just being put out, and this is seriously one of the best cream eyeshadow sticks I've ever used. It is so creamy and so pigmented. My mom is like the biggest snob when it comes to cream eyeshadow sticks because she's constantly like rubbing her eyes and she needs it to last all day. She even fell in love with this. So this is in the shade Peach Perfect. I think they only launched a few shades to begin with, but this is definitely my favorite. Big surprise, it is a peachy champagne pink. It looks so stunning on its own or underneath eyeshadow, which is what I usually like to use it for. And it's like $4. Seriously, everyone needs to buy this. Moving on to the face, I have 3 face products this month. First is a primer. Now that my skin is more kind of combination to a little oily, I have rediscovered my love for primers. Now, I always tell clients who have very textured skin to be careful with primers because of a primer typically is to make product kind of adhere easily to the skin, especially primers that have a high glycerin content. It's designed to make your makeup stick to your skin. So while that helps it to last longer, ultimately if you have a lot of texture or like bumpiness to your skin like I do, that doesn't always look so nice. This is the Cover FX Anti-Aging Primer. I bought this primer a while ago and it kind of just sat in my drawer until I decided to recently start using it again, and I fell in love. This has quickly become my favorite primer simply because it's such a unique texture. It doesn't contain like retinol or anything crazy. It's mostly just very smoothing. It helps to kind of smooth fine lines and texture because more mature skin does tend to have, you know, fine lines, some texture, hormonal changes, stuff like that. So a primer like this is designed to help smooth and kind of perfect the surface of the skin so that your foundation and concealer and whatnot can kind of glide over much more. It's a very silky, smooth texture. It kind of feels almost like a serum. So I was kind of worried that it would break my skin out since I am more oily recently. It hasn't caused any issues for my skin whatsoever. And I definitely notice a huge improvement in kind of the appearance and the texture of my skin. Even though it says anti-age, I honestly think it's great for all skin types, all ages. My next favorite product is a product I debated getting for quite a while and then finally caved and just bit the bullet. This is the Tarte Wipeout Color Correcting Palette. But it's basically a cream color correcting palette. Now, color correcting is all the rage, as I'm sure you are aware unless you live under a rock or you just don't go on social media whatsoever. From a makeup artist standpoint, it can be a little frustrating when techniques are kind of blown up as a trend that everyone thinks they need to do. Not everyone needs to color correct, nor does everyone need to put every single one of these colors on their face. That being said, color correcting is a really amazing technique that can help drastically improve the kind of tone and complexion of the skin. So the ones I use most often, like on almost a daily basis, are the green and this pink. So because I've been breaking out so much recently, I use the green underneath my foundation to kind of cancel out the redness from any blemishes or breakouts or post-acne marks I do have. This kind of peachy pink, so I believe it's shade 4. It's the one that's more pink. I use that to help cancel out the dark under eye circles that I do have. Honestly, I mix this pink shade with a tiny bit of the kind of salmony orange up here, just because it gives me some extra color correcting, and like I have crazy dark circles on a daily basis. So even though I thought I wouldn't use all the colors, I actually have been using almost all of them. The texture is amazing. It is very blendable, very creamy, but not greasy. It's very easy to work with. It doesn't look dry or cakey on the skin whatsoever. I am so happy that I bought this. It's definitely a great investment for anyone with multiple skin concerns, any makeup artist, or anyone just kind of wanting like an all-purpose color correcting palette. And for the value, like, it is kind of expensive. I think it's 40 something or 50 Canadian. But considering the Smashbox sticks are like $20 each, I mean, that's a pretty good deal. Last but not least, for face products, this is by a brand that is pretty new for us in Canada. It's Makeup Revolution. It's super popular in the United States. We did not have it in Canada until very recently, and I just found it at one of my local drugstores and I got so excited. So the product I have been obsessed with is the blush palette. So this one contains 4 highlight shades and 4 kind of satin matte blushes on the bottom. Honestly, this has been what I've been reaching for every single day. I haven't really used any other blushes this month. So my favorite, which is what I'm wearing today, is a combination of these 2 shades here. This is a soft kind of peachy pink. This is a little bit more neutral. It also comes with a bright pink and then more of a coral. The highlighters are pretty. They're not my favorite out on the market, but they are really nice and not sparkly whatsoever. The yellow, I'll probably never use, to be honest with you, but it's nice and it is a good value. I think this blush palette was like $19.99. And considering I will spend $30 on one single blush or $60 on one highlight, that's a good value. The texture of the blushes is definitely beautiful. It's a great formula in the sense that it applies really smooth and evenly to the skin. I don't get any patchiness. I don't get any like blotchy patches. It dusts on the skin really easily and it is nice and pigmented. Next 2 favorites are lip products. So the first favorite is one of the newer shades of the NYX Soft Matte Lip Creams. This is the shade Can. This is a color I knew I had to have as soon as I saw it. This is a gorgeous kind of warm, deeper pink. It's not bright on the lips. It looks a little bit more of like a deep nude pink, but it is so pretty. Like, yes. I don't necessarily think this is the best liquid lipstick formula ever, but I do really like them. It's definitely thinner, which some people love, some people hate. Personally, I like it because it gives me a little bit more control, and it doesn't look as like pasty on the lips. You know, I don't really get like a butthole mouth when I use these, so that's always nice. I just love NYX too. Like, it's just one of my favorite brands. Last lip favorite is a new launch. This is the Too Faced Lip Injection Glossies. I have been a huge fan of the Lip Injection Extreme. That's like my favorite lip plumper ever. It's the only one I find that actually helps make my lips look fuller. I do have a blog post where I did a comparison before and after. I will link that up here. They recently launched colored glosses in their regular lip injection, so it's not the extreme, but it's still a really good lip plumper. So I was like, a gloss and a lip plumper? Sign me up. So I got the shade Spice Girl, which, big surprise, is a nude. If you watch any of my previous videos, you know I will never say no to a good nude. They're the only type of nudes that I ever want to receive. Spice Girl is a gorgeous, I would call it a true nude. It's not very pink tone, it's not overly brown. It's just right in the it's just right in the middle, like perfect combination. I am wearing it today over Buttercup by Gerard Cosmetics. It does tingle a bit on the lips. At first it can be a little intense, but I promise you get used to it. I love to use this over top of lipstick, or if I'm kind of on a day off and I want more of like the plumping effect, I'll use a little bit of lip liner on the outside of my lips just to kind of define it, and then I will apply this all over. So I think I will definitely have to be purchasing some other colors. Last but not least, for my favorites this month are brushes. Because I do the Morphe Me monthly subscription, I'm probably always going to have a brush favorite in my favorites video. This month I have two. So my first brush is the M403. This is from a previous month's. I don't remember which one, but I will include that somewhere up here. I have been absolutely loving this for blush. Now this kind of sat in my brush collection for a little while. I liked it. I mean, I thought it was a great brush. I just didn't know if it would really be my preference for a blush brush. I used it for powder and it was good for that. But recently I was like, you know what? I'm going to step out of my comfort zone. I need a blush brush because mine are all dirty and I'm really lazy. So I tried it with the Makeup Revolution palette, and that's all I've been using for the last month or so. It is smaller, which is usually like not my preference. I typically like something kind of fluffier, but it's still a very soft brush, and once you use it, it does start to kind of puff out and it gets fluffier. This is awesome for just hitting the apples of the cheeks. I do find, rather than swiping it, do little dusting motions, and that applies your blush so nicely. I freaking love this brush now. Lastly is the R37. So this was from September's Morphe Me brush package. This is from the Rose Gold collection. I did do a full review of each brush, which I will link for you guys. I have been using this constantly for eyeshadow because I have been doing more like dramatic looks recently. It's basically a blending brush. Fluffy, but it does kind of taper a little bit to a point. I've really been liking this for blending out my crease color, adding some definition or kind of like darkening up the crease and then blending it out. It's just an all-around good blending brush for the crease area. This is the pointed blender, so this one does come to a little bit more of a tip. The other one had more of a rounded tip. Honestly, I love both. I just find I've been reaching for this one a little bit more recently. It's amazing. I don't know what else to say. The entire Rose Gold collection is perfection. I need them all. Morphe is gonna take all my money and I'm gonna be poor. But yeah, that's pretty much it. These were all of the products that I have been loving the most for the past month. Holiday collections are coming out soon, so I can guarantee the next couple months will have a ton of products in them. As always, make sure you check out my Facebook page, as that's where I host my giveaways. All of my social media links will be in the down bar below. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time. Pro Pointed Contour. All of the brushes are super soft, but this one especially. It is sort of a tapered, kind of teardrop shaped. They call it the Pro Pointed Contour, so you can definitely use it for contouring, sculpting. It's nice and fluffy, so it'll still give you precision, but it won't be super intense. It'll give you like a nice diffused contour.